What if freedom itself was being redesigned pixel by pixel? Right now, across the world, governments and corporations are rolling out digital IDs, systems that promise convenience and safety but quietly build the foundation of something far more dangerous: a digital prison without bars. Over 80 countries are testing or implementing some form of digital ID. In Europe, the EU digital identity wallet will soon be required for banking and healthcare. In India, the Aadhaar ID system already holds biometric data of over 1 billion citizens. In the UK and the United States, same story. The infrastructure for total digital control isn't coming, it's already here. George Orwell warned us about this, not in a prophecy but in understanding human nature. He knew that tyranny rarely arrives with boots and bayonets. It comes wrapped in good intentions, clothed in language of progress.
2 and 2.
Oh.
Again?
Oh.
Good. There are people who will tell you the answer's 5. Usually they're called governments. Great leaders. It becomes very important to them that the people should believe that the answer's 5. They'll tell you lies. They'll torture you. They'll kill you. At the moment of death, you must still insist that the answer is 4.
My name is Robin, just like the bird, the voice of sovereignty. And today we stand at a crossroad between sovereignty and submission, between freedom of being and digital dependency. The digital ID may sound like a harmless upgrade to modern life, a single login for all your needs. But beneath that convenience lies a global infrastructure of control, one capable of tracking, restricting and conditioning every human choice.
There are parts in southern China where smart cameras placed around the intersection will recognize who you are. You can have your face covered, or you could be obscured. These systems are very, very smart. They can recognize you by gait, by posture, by how you're walking. And so if you've caused an infraction, your face gets thrown up on a digital billboard at that intersection, along with your name and where you work. And that information is transmitted to your employers and to your family members.
Once everything you do, own and access, from your bank account to your healthcare, from your travel to your food, is tied to a single digital identity, freedom no longer exists as a birthright. It becomes a permission. George Orwell's 1984 wasn't just a book, it was a manual of awareness. He describes a world where truth was rewritten, surveillance was constant, and thought itself was policed.
You can move the old-fashioned way.
Much of the technology that threatens our freedom and our dignity in the near-term future is being developed by companies in the business of capturing and selling our data and our attention to advertisers and others.
The telescreen of Orwell's world has become your smartphone. The Ministry of Truth now lives in the algorithms deciding what you see, hear and believe. And the next step, the digital ID, ensures the system doesn't just watch you, it owns your access to society itself. Imagine being unable to buy food because your social credit score dropped. Imagine a traveler denied entry because their digital wallet was flagged. Imagine your health records, finances and online presence all connected and controlled by one system.
If the people in power are using these algorithms to quietly watch us, to judge us, and to nudge us, to predict and identify the troublemakers and the rebels, that authoritarianism will envelop us like a spider's web. And we may not even know we're in it.
The surveillance capitalists have tried to get us to believe that their practices are the inevitable outgrowth of digital technologies.
So that's why I believe that the future is private. This is the next chapter for our services.
What do you prefer? Being safer when you wake up in the morning and go to the street? or not being or analyzing by AI system. I want to be safer.
Hollywood has been whispering these warnings for decades, not by accident, but through what many call predictive programming. In the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake, people trade minutes of their lives like currency, an eerie mirror of what happens when digital systems decide your worth. In the movie Equilibrium, emotion itself becomes a crime, order maintained not through compassion but through control. And a little detail, injections. The movie Gattaca shows us a future where identity is destiny, where your DNA, like a digital ID, predetermines your opportunities. Even the Matrix reminds us, a system built on illusion will always defend itself against those who awaken. These stories don't entertain us by chance. They prepare us, soften our resistance, and normalize the idea that surveillance and control are inevitable.
I want to surveil, I want surveillance of these people that are coming in, the Trojan horse. I want to know who the hell they are.
But they are not. What is truly at stake is the soul of humanity, our ability to live as sovereign beings, unmonitored, unmanipulated, and unknown.
You don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call. And then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
Once data replaces dignity and compliance replaces conscience, the human spirit withers. And yet, this generation, our generation, holds the line. We have the power to say no, to build parallel systems rooted in freedom, privacy, and human values. We can protect ourselves by choosing technologies that empower rather than enslave. Opt for decentralized technologies, like privacy wallets, encrypted messaging, and open source platforms. Use cash whenever possible to keep our physical sovereignty alive. Learn basic digital privacy. Use VPNs, avoid biometric scans when you can. And keep your data local. And most importantly, question everything. Question every convenience that demands your privacy. Question every convenience that demands your identity. Each small act of awareness is an act of rebellion. Every refusal to comply with unnecessary data collection is a step towards freedom. We can reclaim our sovereignty by understanding that true identity comes from within, not from a barcode, a biometric scan, or a blockchain certificate. Resistance begins with awareness. Awareness evolves into community, and community becomes power, just like our tribe. From Plato's Republic to Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, philosophers and visionaries warned us. When comfort replaces consciousness, tyranny blooms quietly. Sovereignty isn't rebellion, it's remembrance. The remembrance that your identity is not a number, but a presence. The question isn't whether digital ID is coming, it's whether we consent to it. Will we surrender our birthright to convenience or rise to protect the flame of human freedom that no system can extinguish? Imagine a world where technology serves humanity and not the other way around. A world where sovereignty is sacred and freedom is coded into our culture, not our devices. That's the world we're building within the Butterfly Tribe, for those who are ready to remember who they truly are. If you feel that spark, if you know deep down that you were born for more than digital servitude, then it's time to remember who you are. Visit sovereignbutterfly.com and take your first step toward reclaiming your sovereign destiny. The future isn't written by those who obey, it's written by those who remember they are free. Sincerely yours, Robin Just Like the Bird, the voice of sovereignty, and see you in the next transformation.
Monopoly and bureaucracy, which are actively interested in maintaining the status quo, and therefore in preventing the common man from becoming too intelligent. independence of the writer and the artist is eaten away by vague economic forces, and at the same time, it is undermined by those who should be its defenders.
We falsely think of our country as a democracy when it has evolved into a mediaocracy, where a media that is supposed to check political abuse is part of a political abuse.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous.
Political writing in our time consists almost entirely of prefabricated phrases, bolted together, like the pieces of a child's Meccano set.
This is extremely dangerous.
This is extremely dangerous.
This is extremely dangerous.
Dangerous.
Democracy.
Democracy.
We live in the greatest country in the world, the greatest nation in history of mankind.
The strongest, freest, greatest country.
The greatest health care.
The greatest universities. The greatest schools.
The greatest rise of freedom and opportunity.
The single greatest nation in the history of all mankind.
The greatest country ever.
If we're going to talk about the elite media's debate, then it is still controlled by the corporate owners and the corporate sponsors who, after all, provide the revenue to keep those machines going, to keep those TV shows on the air and those radio shows and those papers.